Excellencies and distinguished delegates, on behalf of a grateful nation, I thank the government of Indonesia and the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, UNDRR, for hosting and organizing this year's global platform for disaster risk reduction. Although we are just halfway through the fulfillment of our 2030 targets, we are already reaping the rewards of implementing the Sendai framework, judging by the progress made in the region. In order to further bolster this development, we adopted various measures to fulfill our Sendai framework commitments and agreements. On policy and strategy, the Philippines updated the NDRRM framework and Plan 2020 to 2030, which underscores the management of risk and focuses on an all hazards approach to address the four priorities for action of the Sendai framework. It integrates guiding principles, targets, and indicators with other global frameworks on disaster risk reduction, climate change adaptation, and sustainable development, and reinforces strategic directions toward risk management, investment, and gender responsiveness. Moreover, it promotes locally led and ecosystems based disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation, assures public private partnerships, and spurs public health investments. From 2018 to 2022, the Philippines established targets A, B, C, D, E, F, and G in the Sendai monitoring tool. An interagency group was instituted to address data gaps and streamline available data on Sendai framework risk reduction and enjoin all government entities to provide data support for reporting and monitoring purposes. Realizing the importance of data governance, a study on the Philippine DRRCCA data ecosystem was conducted. It helped us institutionalize the most appropriate interagency governance framework. The results enabled us to design a high-level roadmap for an efficient, robust, and operational DRRCCA ecosystem that will catalyze data-driven decision-making in the country. A country-level assessment focusing on the disaster risk reduction efforts under the Sendai framework priorities will also be conducted this year in time for its midterm review. As the complexity of risk increases due to the potential impacts of multiple hazards across geographic boundaries, systems, and sectors, the Philippines shall commit to addressing the key DRRM challenges which have been identified since 2015. These include lessons learned from pandemic-related health, social, and economic concerns, as well as the aggravating impacts of climate change. Emerging issues through 2030 and beyond will be prioritized, and the whole of society approach towards adaptive governance for resilience will be strengthened. As we prepare the next medium-term Philippine Development Plan for the incoming administration, we will ensure that resilience building and recovery will continue to be at the core of our strategies and priorities for the next 6 years. Our experiences from previous disasters and disaster risk reduction undertakings will guide us in making our disaster risk reduction approach more responsive and adaptive. Moving ahead, the Philippines will intensify its DRR advocacy and continue to do its share in attaining our shared global goals. Thank you very much. Mabuhay!